chemical properties of nonmetals. Let us study about chemical properties of nonmetals. First property that we need to study is reaction of nonmetals with oxygen. So when nonmetals react with oxygen, they form their oxides, and oxides of nonmetals are acidic in nature. So we need to remember that oxides of metals are basic in nature, whereas oxides of nonmetals are acidic in nature. Let us take some examples. Let's talk about the first example, that is carbon reacts with the oxygen and forms carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide is acidic in nature. During this reaction, there is a combination. It's an example of combination reaction. It is an example of a exothermic reaction also. And in the slide you can see that reaction of carbon with oxygen is given twice. The reason is that when carbon combines with oxygen in sufficient supply of air, when supply of oxygen is sufficient, then carbon dioxide is formed. But if carbon is burning in insufficient supply of oxygen, means supply of oxygen is less, then carbon monoxide is produced, you can see, and carbon monoxide is a suffocating gas. It has a tendency of combining with hemoglobin at a very fast rate, and when it combines with hemoglobin at a very fast rate, the body is unable to get oxygen, and that leads to unconsciousness, then slowly to coma, and finally the person dies if somebody is not going to take care of the situation. So you need to keep these things in mind, that nonmetals, whenever they combine with oxygen, they are going to form their oxides which are acidic in nature. So let's take examples of some more nonmetals. Sulfur gives sulfur dioxide when reacts with oxygen. Sulfur catches fire when exposed to air. So sulfur is present in fuels in the form of impurities. So when these fuels burn, sulfur also combines with oxygen and forms sulfur dioxide. And again, sulfur dioxide, as it is a non-metal oxide, is acidic in nature. One more example is of hydrogen, which reacts with oxygen and forms its oxide, which we call it as water. But it is an exception, that is, it is not acidic, it is neutral in nature. Non-metal oxides are acidic in nature. How we can find it out? We can find it out using a litmus paper. So in litmus paper, when we use a litmus paper, blue litmus paper changes to red, proving that it is acidic in nature. Carbon dioxide, which is a non-metal oxide, when reacts with water forms carbonic acid, whereas sulfur trioxide, when reacts with water, forms sulfuric acid. So these acidic gases, whenever they are going to come in contact with water, they are going to change into acid. And this is the main reason that when these gases are in air in too much quantity, they lead to acid rain. So the rainwater reacts with these acids which are present in atmosphere as pollutants and causes acid rain. Reaction of nonmetals with chlorine. Let us study how metals react with chlorine. Nonmetals give their respective chlorides when they react with chlorine gas. So in the slide also you can see that nonmetals, they react with chlorine and they form a nonmetal chlorides. So two examples are given over here. Hydrogen gives its hydrogen chloride. Phosphorus gives phosphorus trichloride when they react with chlorine. So in the reaction you can say when hydrogen is reacting with chlorine, you are getting HCl, which is a gas, and when phosphorus is reacting with chlorine, you are getting phosphorus trichloride. Why we are telling it as trichloride? Because one phosphorus is combining with 3 atoms of chlorine. Reaction of metals and nonmetals. Here you need to study how metals and nonmetals react with each other. Many metals forms ionic bonds. When they react with nonmetal, compounds so formed are called as ionic compounds. So whenever metals and nonmetals they are going to react, there is always an ionic bond formed. Why an ionic bond is formed? Because metals have a tendency to lose electron and form cations, whereas non-metals have a tendency to gain electron and form anions. So let us study how ions are formed and what are ions in little detail. Ions, positive or negatively charged atoms, are known as ions. Ions are formed because of loss or gain of electrons. They do so to attain a noble gas configuration. So why do the elements have a tendency to lose electron or gain electron? The reason is because they want to have a noble gas configuration. There are some elements which have outermost shell filled, so they are called as noble gases, and these elements, they don't react with anybody because their outermost shell is already filled. So the other elements also want their outermost shell should be filled, and in order to fill their outermost shell, either they lose electron or they gain electron. So the first type of ion is positive ion. A positive ion is formed because of the loss of electron by an atom. So positive ions are always formed by metals. So metals always have a tendency to lose electrons. Sodium forms an ion because of loss of one electron. Because of loss of one electron, one positive charge comes over the sodium. Now the question arises, why do sodium loses electron? This is a sodium atom which is not carrying any charge. Atomic number of sodium is 11, electronic configuration 2, 8 and 1. So in the third shell, as sodium is having one electron, so it has a tendency of losing one electron so that it can become stable. In order to become stable, elements have a tendency that they lose or gain electrons so that their outermost shell should be complete, because there are noble gases which we call them as inert gases. They don't react. By luck, already they have such a electronic configuration that they have a outermost shell is fully filled. So every atom wants that their outermost shell should also be complete. So in order to obtain that, sodium loses one electron and acquires a one positive charge. Now why one positive charge? The reason is, before losing one electron, sodium was having 11 electrons and 11 protons. So the charge of electron is negative and proton are positively charged. So as the number of proton and electron in an atom is always equal, so they cancel the charge of each other, and atom never carries any charge. But as soon as any atom loses electron, so as sodium has lost one electron, that lost electron is written separately. So after losing, now the number of electron and proton is not equal. Electrons are now 10 because one electron has been lost, whereas protons are still 11. So the charge of 10 electrons will be cancelled by 10 protons. But what about the charge of the 11th proton? So that is being shown over here, the charge of 11th proton. So one proton is showing its charge, the remaining 10 protons charge is not being shown because it is being cancelled by 10 electrons. Similarly, when we talk about potassium, potassium gets one positive charge by loss of one electron, because potassium also has an electronic configuration of 2, 8, 8 and 1. So the one electron which is present in the fourth shell is being donated so that they can attain a inert gas configuration, and as a result they acquire one positive charge on it. Magnesium has 2 electrons in the outermost shell, atomic number 12, electronic configuration 2, 8 and 2. So it has a tendency of giving 2 electrons and forming a 2 positive charge and forms a cation. So all the metals, they have a tendency of forming a positively charged ion which is called as a cation. Similarly, calcium also gets 2 positive charge over it by losing 2 electrons, because the electronic configuration of calcium is 2, 8, 8 and 2, because its atomic number is 20. So now the question arises, when the atom is losing electron, where does these atoms go? Do they remain in the air? No. Actually, there are other elements which are ready to take these electrons. So what are these elements? These are non-metals. Non-metals always have a tendency of gaining electrons, as metals always have a tendency of losing electrons. Similarly, non-metals always have a tendency of gaining electrons. So let us study about non-metals, how they gain electrons. Negative ions. Let's talk about negative ions. A negative ion is formed because of gain of electron. Some examples are given below. Let's take an example of chlorine. Chlorine is a non-metal, and non-metals always have a tendency of gaining electron. So chlorine gains 1 electron in order to achieve a stable configuration. Atomic number of chlorine is 17 and the electronic configuration is 2, 8 and 7. So in the third shell there are 7 electrons. So the tendency of non-metals is to gain electrons. So chlorine needs only 1 electron more so that the third shell can be completed. So it gains 1 electron, and after gaining 1 electron, that 1 electron which is extra is going to show its charge on it and it forms a anion. Similarly, chlorine has an atomic number of 9, electronic configuration 2 and 7. So in the second shell, as it has 7 electrons, so it also has a tendency of gaining electron, and after gaining 1 electron it acquires -1 charge. So as they need only 1 electron, they are going to gain only 1 electron. If they need 2 electrons, they are going to gain 2 electrons. So how many electrons they are going to gain depends upon their electronic configuration. It depends how many electrons are present in their outermost shell. As atom gets 2 negative charge over it by a gain of 2 electrons and forms an oxide ion. Atomic number of oxygen is 8, electronic configuration 2 and 6. Second shell is having 6 electrons, so it gains 2 electrons so that the second shell will have 8 and the atom will become stable. So the entire process of gaining and losing electron is just so that the outermost shell gets completed, so that they can have their electronic configuration which is close to inert gases, or we can say noble gases. So as you can see that metals have a tendency of losing electron and non-metal have a tendency of gaining electron. So reaction between, whenever there is a reaction between a metal and a non-metal and they form a compound, they always form an ionic compound, because metal is going to electron, and that electron which metal has lost, non-metals are going to gain it. So that's all in the chemical properties of non-metals.